What's up, everybody? Today we're going to be doing an album ranking for the studio albums of Dream Theater. So let's get into it. You have stumbled upon Scott's Vinyl Sanctuary, and if you like the content of this video, I would truly appreciate if you would like, comment, subscribe to the channel. That would help me out tremendously. But for now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the album ranking. Coming in at number 16 for me, I don't think is any surprise to anybody, The Astonishing. The Astonishing was released in 2016, and this was a ambitious concept album by Dream Theater. I don't find very many songs on this album enjoyable. I mean, The Gift of Music, Savior in the Square, Our New World, those are pretty decent albums or decent songs. But I think my main problem with this is I don't have the time to listen to this. It's 2 hours and 10 minutes long. I appreciate the effort that went into this. I applaud them for their ambition of trying to create something of this magnitude. But what I would have liked to have seen is, instead of James LaBrie voicing all of the characters himself, I would have liked to have seen them enlist some other vocalists to come in and voice these characters, kind of like an Ayreon project. I think that would have been a great help to this album. And I think a lot of the musical interludes, I mean, there's tracks on here that are like 34 seconds long where it's just machine noises, yeah, things like that. I think they could have whittled this down to maybe an hour, hour and 15, still got the point across, and still come up with a decent product. But for me, I mean, I've heard pretentious, I've heard overblown, and I can't disagree with any of that. So for me, number 16, The Astonishing. Number 15 on my list, When Dream and Day Unite. I always knew this album existed, but I was a Dream Theater fan for many, 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 many years before I actually purchased this and reviewed it. I went back through my Discogs history, and it was actually 2019 when I finally purchased this album. Um, to be perfectly honest, just from a completionist standpoint, I just wanted it in my collection. But when I first received it, I put it on the turntable. It's not a bad album. I mean, I've heard a lot of people complain about the production value. Keep in mind, they were a brand new band. They don't have a lot of money. They got what they could get at the time. So I don't hold that against them. But I'm just not a fan of Charlie Dominici's vocals. I'm just not. Um, there are some good songs on here. The Yitzy Jam, Afterlife. I had heard those before. I think both of those were on. Let's see. I know the Yitzy Jam was on Budokan, and I think Score, if I remember correctly, had both the Yitzy Jam and Afterlife. So I was already familiar with those songs, but I had never heard them from, or at least Afterlife, Yitzy Jam's instrumental. But I had never heard Afterlife with Charlie Dominici. So yes, I have the album. Yes, I have it for, just to complete my collection. But for me, it's number 15 on my list, When Dream and Day Unite. Number 14, Falling into Infinity. Falling into Infinity isn't a horrible album, but it is low on my list. This was the album where I guess they were arguing with the record company. Awake didn't sell as well as Images and Words, so they were getting pressure from the record company. They brought in Kevin Shirley. Kevin Shirley did, I mean, he's done the last 4 Iron Maiden albums and they've been fantastic. So I don't know what his problem was on this one, but it is definitely not the Dream Theater that we know. There are some great songs on here. Peruvian Skies, awesome. New Millennium, Burning My Soul. Lines in the Sand, that incredible. Trial of Tears, great song. But what pisses me off most about this album is when they released the what's it called, the Lost but Not Forgotten series, or I'm sorry, I'm mistaking the title is escaping me now. But they released the demos of the Falling into Infinity sessions, and when I listened to what the tracks were at their original inception, balanced against what the final product was, this album could have been so much better. So yeah, that's why it's so low on my list. Number 14, Falling into Infinity. Coming in at number 13, the self-titled album, Dream Theater. This is where my rankings started really getting tough. From this point forward, in my estimation, in my opinion, there isn't a bad Dream Theater album from this point forward. I actually, it's a quirk of mine. It's something I do. But whenever I pull one of my albums to drop it on the turntable, I always log it into Discogs and I keep track of when I listen to them. So I actually went back and pulled the data and saw how often I listened to these and how often I pulled these. So, this album came out in 2013. It was the second album with Mike Mangini on the drums. Uh, some great songs on this album. The Enemy Inside, Enigma Machine, epic. Illumination Theory, epic. Even The Looking Glass. It's a little radio friendly, if you will, but I still like it. So, I mean, this is still a very good album. I hear, I've seen other reviews where people are talking about Mike Mangini and how he was a robot and he didn't play with feel. I could care less. I'm not a drummer. I don't really pay attention to the drums all that much, other than, when somebody's playing, I was like, oh, that's a cool fill. But really, that I could care less. They were both extremely competent. If he wasn't competent, they wouldn't have selected him. Uh, Although I think Marco Miniman would have been a better fit, FYI. So anyway, yeah, this is still a really good album. But for me, comes in at number 13, the self-titled Dream Theater. Number 12, A View from the Top of the World. I was very excited when this album came out because I was a huge fan of Distance Over Time. So when they released this, they actually won a Grammy for The Alien. Great song. The Alien, Answering the Call, Invisible Monster, Transcending Time, all great songs. As far as the Dream Theater epics are concerned, A View from the Top of the World, it's okay. I don't think it's as good as some of their other epics. And when I'm referring to epics, Dream Theater, if you're not familiar, has a tendency to have 20-minute plus songs on an album somewhere, almost every album. So this one is still really good. It just didn't hold up to some of the others, but still, like I said, from the last album onward, still really great albums. It's just a matter of how often I listen to them and my personal preference. So, yeah, View from the Top of the World. Number 11, Systematic Chaos. Systematic Chaos came out in 2007, and this opened up so beefy and meaty for me with, In the Presence of Enemies. Uh, there are some really good songs on here. In the Presence of Enemies, Part 1 and 2. When it first came out, I was always of the mindset it should have been a singular track. But the more I listen to it, I kind of like how it bookends the interior songs. Um, Dark Eternal Night, great song. Prophets of War, Ministry of Lost Souls. This album is just really good. And again, like I said, it's just a matter of preference. I don't think it's a bad album at all. It's just a matter of how often I listen to them and pull them. So for me, number 11, Systematic Chaos. Number 10, A Dramatic Turn of Events. I think this album was met with a lot of trepidation and a lot of skepticism because Portnoy had just left, and this was their first release with Mike Mangini on the drums. This is such a good album. On the Backs of Angels, Bridges in the Sky, Breaking All Illusions. There are some other good songs on here, but yeah, this is just. I was very excited to. I guess I was very relieved when I heard this for the first time because it just reaffirmed that Dream Theater was still going strong and not going anywhere. So yeah, for me, number 10, Dramatic Turn of Events. Number 9, Black Clouds and Silver Linings. This album was the last before Portnoy departed the band. There are some great songs on this album. A Nightmare to Remember, A Rite of Passage, The Shattered Fortress, The Count of Tuscany. I would argue that's one of the best songs that they have ever written, with a caveat. Musically, compositionally, fantastic. I love this song. Lyrically, a little cheesy. Dare I say, very cheesy. But that doesn't take away from the overall feel of the song for me. What helped me tremendously was Dream Theater released an instrumental version of this album. So, I listen to that a lot as well. This is the only album that I don't have on vinyl yet. I have it on CD around here somewhere, but I didn't dig it out. But they did just have a reissue, and I just ordered it, and it should be here in about 2 weeks. So I'm very excited for that because that completes my Dream Theater collection. Number 8, Parasomnia. This is Dream Theater's latest release that came out in 2025. Great songs on this album as well. Night Terror, Midnight Messiah, Bend the Clock, Shadow Man Incident, another great epic. But it was funny, I was excited to hear that Portnoy was coming back because the original crew was getting back together, so to speak. And I forget whether it was in the Arms of Morpheus or Night Terror, but as soon as the drums kicked in, I was like, "Yep, Portnoy's back." Overfills as usual, which is fine. It doesn't bother me. But like I said, I'm not a big drummer. I'm a guitarist, so I'm literally paying more attention to what Petrucci's doing and listening to the song holistically rather than picking out drum tracks. But yeah, this was a really good album. I was very, very satisfied when this hit my turntable. There had been some tracks that had been released prior to the release of this album, and I intentionally stayed away from them. I didn't stream them. I didn't watch any of the videos because when it arrived, I wanted to sit down and listen to it as in its entirety. So, yeah, I was very, very happy with this product. Again, great album, Parasomnia. Number 7, Distance Over Time. I bought this album the day it was released. My wife and I were driving around, and we passed a Barnes and Noble, and I knew they had a vinyl section, so I went in and picked it up. I didn't know that apparently there was a special pressing for Barnes and Noble specifically. It's like an ugly brown vinyl, but whatever. It sounds great. Um, I love this album, and yes, I scored it higher than Parasomnia, so forgive me. Again, it's just my personal preference. Untethered Angel, Paralyzed, Barstool Warrior, At Wit's End, my God, and that Pale Blue Dot is just fantastic. At Wit's End starts off so heavy, and by the end, by the time it transitioned, it is so melodic and so emotional. It is such a great song. Um, Other good songs, Room 137, S to N, which is Signal to Noise. Just really good album. I really enjoy this. So, and this one even has the Viper King on it. So, yeah, very good. Number 7, Distance Over Time. Number 6, coincidentally enough, 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence. This album came out in 2002. Great album. It's basically split into 2 parts. The first album is 5 songs. Glass Prison, fantastic song. Blind Faith, The Great Debate, awesome songs. But then on the second disc, or the second record in this case, it is dedicated solely to the 42-minute suite of 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence, where it's sectioned off into 7 different songs. I still pull this one quite a bit, but more so for the first disc or the first record. I do still listen to the 42-minute suite every once in a while, but at this point in my life, I think maybe I've just heard it too many times. If I'm streaming it, I find that I am skipping tracks. But still, holistically, I still listen to this quite a bit. So, number 6 for me, 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence. Number 5, Octavarium. Octavarium came out in 2005. This opened up really strong. This album, it opens up with The Root of All Evil. Panic Attack is a heavy song. Never Enough, Sacrifice Sons, and then you, of course, have the 24-minute epic of Octavarium. I was very intrigued with this album cover. I don't want to bend it too much, but it's got a Newton's cradle. It's got a Newton's cradle on it, so I thought that was pretty cool. Thematically, what's interesting about this album is each song is in a different key, hence the name Octavarium from octave. So each song kind of progresses along the scale. So that was very interesting. But yeah, I still listen to this one heavy rotation, whether it's on the turntable or whether I'm streaming it or driving down the road. Yeah, it's great. Octavarium, number 5 for me. Number 4, Images and Words. Images and Words came out in 1992. I still remember I was sitting in my house, and I remember the video for Pull Me Under came on. Yes, kids, MTV used to actually play music videos. But yeah, I thought it was very unique. I thought it was just outstanding. It really had an impact on me. I went out and picked up the album not too long after that, and I have listened to this so many times over the last 34 years. Pull Me Under is just a classic. Take the Time, Metropolis, Part 1. That is so good. I think I listened to that track the most out of everything on here. Uh, this was back when CDs were prominent, so I would always skip to this track and play this one the most. Um, this came in at number 4 on my list. Again, it might just be like with octave or 6 degrees of inner turbulence, but maybe it's just because I've heard it so many times over the years, it just doesn't have the same impact on me. So yeah, for me, number 4, Images and Words. Number 3, Train of Thought. This album came out in 2003, and I love, love, love this album. It is so heavy. It's almost like they try to get a little bit away from the progressive metal and started concentrating more on the heavy metal side. This is just right in my wheelhouse when there's something that I want to listen to and I want to just crank it up and get heavy. Uh, yeah, as I am. The first time this hit my turntable, oh my God, John Mayung hitting those harmonics on the bass. I was like, oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, This Dying Soul, Endless Sacrifice, Honor Thy Father. About the only song that I don't care for on this is Vacant. And I'll be perfectly honest. I'm not a big. I don't come to listen to Dream Theater for ballads, although they have plenty of them. That's I come for the virtuosity. I come for the technical aspect of their music, the complexity of it. Um, I don't care for the ballads all that much. But yeah, I cannot express how much I love this album. For number 3 for me, Train of Thought. Number 2, Metropolis Part 2, Scenes from a Memory. This album came out in 1999 to a tremendous response from the Dream Theater fans. This is such a great album. As much as I love Train of Thought, there are still 2 more that I listen to, at least according to my Discogs list, a little more frequently than that. And this is one of them. And this is a fantastic album. I'm not going to get into the whole story. I'm not going to get into the whole um, concept of the album. But yeah, it is one long story for those who of you not familiar with it, and it is just very intriguing. It's a good listen, but it's not one that you can just you know bring it up on a streaming service or pop in a CD and shuffle. You're pick and choose a song here and there. You really need to listen to it in its entirety to get the full effect of the story. Um, Dance of Eternity, another great epic. As much as I said, I just said I don't really care for the ballads all that much, but the spirit carries on. I do kind of like that song. But for me, the standout on this is Home. That song is so heavy. I just the way it opens up, it's just hits me. I love that stuff. Um, but yeah, this is number 2 on my list, and it is again fantastic. Metropolis Part 2, Scenes from a Memory. Number 1, Awake. This album came out in 1994 as a follow up to Images and Words. Um, this outclassed Images and Words by a mile, in my opinion. It's heavier. I think the songwriting is better. It's more technical. I love this album. Just the way it opens up with 6 o'clock and Caught in a Web. Just really, really heavy entry. Um, the standouts for me on this album, though, Erotomania, Voices, The Silent Man, The Mirror. Wow, what a song. And then Lie. Lie is another great song. Space Divest, it's pretty cool. I've heard a lot of people say it's their favorite song off this album. I get it. It's just not my favorite, but I do like it. Um, yeah, so for me, number one in this entire ranking is Awake. I do want to give honorable mention to A Change of Seasons. I contemplated, I've seen a lot of Dream Theater ranking videos where some include it, some don't. I was thinking about doing it. If you look at a Pink Floyd album ranking, they always include Ummagumma. Ummagumma is, half live, half studio. So, I thought about it, but I decided against it. But I am going to give it a honorable mention. Change of Seasons is such a good song, such a good song. Um, but the live stuff, Funeral for a Friend, Love Lies Bleeding. As much of a metal guy and a progressive rock guy that I am, I still love like early Elton John. Perfect Strangers from Deep Purple, The Rover, Achilles' Last Stand. The Song Remains the Same from Zeppelin. Um, and then there's a big, medley. There's another big medley at the end with Pink Floyd, Kansas, Queen, Journey, Cruise Control. I think that was Dixie Dregs, and then Genesis. Yeah, so outstanding album. I just didn't put it in the ranking. So that's my ranking. I'm sure other people have different rankings, but again, this was just my preference. And once I pulled Discogs and started looking at how often and how frequently I listened to some of those, it became pretty clear where my favorites lied. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Next up, I think I am doing a Porcupine Tree ranking. So that'll be coming soon. But I also have Riverside, Lunatic Soul. Probably going to be doing Steven Wilson's solo stuff. Um, Big Big Train. That's coming as well. So if you like that kind of content, hit me up below. Give me a subscribe, like, and comment. Especially if you disagree with my ranking, let me know what yours are. Let me know where you think where I went wrong. So, all right. But for now, you guys have a great day. I appreciate you watching. Take care.